Question 15 is a perpendicular lines question. It is asking us to find the straight line L, which is perpendicular to the line with the equation y equals 1 minus 3x, and goes through the point with coordinates 6, 3. So, here is our equation of the line, original line, y equals 1 minus 3x. We should know from y equals mx plus c that the m part is my gradient, and that is the coefficient which is in front of my x. So, looking at this question here, the minus 3 is the part in front of my x. So the gradient of this line equals minus 3. Now, we should know that the perpendicular gradient is the negative reciprocal of this. So, it's 1 over this number. So if this is 3, 1 over it is 1/3, and it's also negative. So if this number is already negative, this one is positive. A way to check that is the correct gradient. The two gradients should times together to get me minus 1. Minus 3 times 1/3. 1/3 of minus 3 is minus 1. I then need to input this m with my coordinates of 6, 3 into one of two different formulas, whichever one you're more comfortable with. The first one is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. With these coordinate points, the 6 being the x1, the 3 being the y1. So I'll put that in. The m part is the perpendicular gradient. Okay, so now I just need to multiply out this to find out what it is in my y equals mx plus c form. Equals 1/3 x, 1/3 times minus 6 minus 2, and now need to plus 3 to both sides. I get y equals 1/3 x plus 1. The key points in all the perpendicular line questions is to first work out the gradient of the original line. The second part, work out the gradient of your perpendicular line, which is going to be the negative reciprocal. Find out a point on that line, normally given to you in the question, and then input all the parts into the equation to work it out in y equals mx plus c form. To rationalise the denominator, we need to get rid of the surd in the denominator. So, to do that, I need to times it by something which keeps it as the same fraction. I'm going to times it by root 5 over root 5. Root 5 over root 5 is equal to 1. So timesing any fraction by 1 keeps it as the same. The next thing I can do, I times the top two terms together. 15 times root 5 gets me 15 root 5. 5 times root 5 gets me 5. This would get you the 2 marks in the exam, but try and also simplify it if you can, because 15 divided by 5 equals 3. My final answer would be 3 root 5. My next question for 2 marks is 1 plus root 3 squared can be written in the form a plus b root 3, where a and b are integers. This part of the question maybe sounds a bit confusing, so I'm first just going to look at this part of the question and see what it means. 1 plus root 3 squared means 1 plus root 3 times 1 plus root 3. Timesing it by itself. Now, this is just expanding two brackets now. So you can use whatever method you want. I've used FOIL down here. The first, 1 times 1 gets me 1. Outside, 1 times root 3 gets me root 3. Inside, root 3 times 1 gets me root 3. Outside, root 3 times root 3 gets me 3. Collecting these terms together, I have 1 plus root 3 plus root 3 plus 3. The 1 plus the 3 get me 4. I've got 1 root 3 and I've got another root 3, so in total I have 2 root 3. Now, looking back towards the question, this is now in this form. My A part is my 4, my B part is my coefficient in front of my root 3, which is 2. The final question asks me to write 3 over B plus 2 all over A minus B as a single fraction. I'm going to first just look at a simple adding fractions. I'm going to use the same technique we use on adding fractions. So, if I was going to add these two fractions, the first thing I need to do is get them over a common denominator by timesing the bottoms together. And then you're familiar with wigwam technique. I'm going to times the bottom here by the top here, the bottom here by the top there. So, times the 2 on the bottom gets me 12. This wigwam gets me 4 on the top plus 3 times 3, 9 over 12. Add these together and I'm going to be getting 11 over 12. We're going to use exactly the same technique on these. So, the bottom of the fraction is going to read B times A minus B. You can times this out, but you can also leave it in this form. On the left hand side, I'm going to have 3 lots of A minus B. This is going to be plus 2. B times my 2, 2B. Because they're over the common denominator, we can put them together. Some of you like to do this in one step and have it together at the top line. The next thing I need to do is put it in its simplest form. This is done by timesing out and simplifying the top. Timesing out the top gets me 3a minus 3b plus 2b all over b a minus b. Bringing the terms together, 3a, there's no more a's there, minus 3b plus 2b is going to get me 3a minus b all over b a minus b. As I said, you could have times out the bottom and you would get this answer above. Both answers are acceptable for your 3 marks.